Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. There was some more stuff about the race that I thought was interesting, but this stuff from Ted Cruz, we're used to him throwing bombs. He throws bombs at everybody. You know, he saves a lot for the Democrats, but he throws bombs at conservatives too. But this business about Democrats being violent felons, or the other way around, violent felons being Democrats, I should say, because that's mostly what he said, was just. I don't know. You know what? I don't want to even get into it because that's a show we should do with our buddy Tom Criswell, because he's the guy that knows about that stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, because remember when we were talking to him one time, I was talking to him about it. He's not really politically involved. He said that I'm not politically involved, but I'm a Democrat now because they're the only ones that talk about prison reform.
Right.
So.
Well, and reenfranchising folks when they complete their sentences, and that's something we should talk about with him, because obviously the suggestion that Cruz is making is obviously wrong, but the thing that he said was right. In this study they found in New York, New Mexico, and North Carolina that folks that got their voting rights back who were convicted felons registered overwhelmingly for the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Well, let's flip this around. What if it had said it was Republicans? You would have the same thing. You'd have all the Democrats going, see, they're a bunch of scumbags. Studies like this doesn't help anything. It just doesn't.
Well, the study wasn't even saying that.
There's a multiple of reasons why they vote Democrat or Republican.
And that's what the study said. And that's what's so, I mean, politicians say this kind of thing. But it isn't just politicians. It's that way all the time. That's the point I'm making.
For everybody.
That's the point I'm making. That we have seen more. I was making a larger, more nonpartisan point, just using this as the latest example, because you saw the thing that we're going to segue into next with the shooter in Colorado. You saw the same immediate thing.
Well, let's talk about because one of the subjects we kind of didn't we didn't finish up, is Cruz courting the ultra-right. Is that going to work out for him?
Oh,
I think it is, because keep in mind, listeners of the show understand there's three basic parts to the Republican Party. He's courting the people with money. That's what he's doing. People with money are pro-life. They are pro-marriage, and they are pro-family, for lack of a better term. So those people are the people he's trying to court to get money.
To win the nomination or win the election?
Both. You need money to win the nomination. You need money to win the election. And particularly since Carson's losing those very people. So what do you think? You think it's right? Obviously, you think, the more left he is, the better off he's going to be. But I just don't. I mean, the problem with a Ted Cruz is that he's running as a principled conservative. That's what I hear from my friends who are working for him. My good buddy Jordy Flatt at Flat Tire Center is a precinct captain here. Is going to caucus for him. I've got some people that I used to hang around with in Northwest Iowa who are supporting Ted Cruz. He's got the cachet on that side of the political aisle. But for folks like that are attracted to his principled, take no prisoners conservative stance, are they going to stick around for him when he does what most people think he would do, which is tack back towards the center? Or is Ted Cruz going to maintain those folks and not tack back towards the center and have every registered independent in the state of Iowa and every registered independent in the state of Ohio say, oh boy, okay, yeah, we got our problems with Hillary, but this guy is talking about doing some pretty wacky stuff. We don't know. That's the choice he's going to have to make. I think it's kind of a Faustian bargain, so to speak. So how do you think this Planned Parenthood shooting is going to? How's that going to play out?
And that's the other half of this point that I was making about people just accepting this stuff on social media or the internet. Within minutes before the news reporting was done, before the police had even interrogated this guy, before anything had happened with this investigation, I saw these blog posts. I don't know how these people are blogging so fast about this crap, saying he's a ultra right-wing Christian terrorist. Look, this is the face of Christian terrorism in this country. You didn't know what his motivations were. You didn't know if he was a Christian. You didn't know what his political thing was. We have seen things come out recently where his ex-wife in an interview said, "Oh, yeah, he was conservative, I guess, but not like
Yeah.
He wasn't political. He believed in there were crosses in his house, but there was no evidence that he was super religious. He didn't like Obama, but shoot, a lot of people don't like Obama, and they don't go shooting up Planned Parenthood places.
And he didn't have internet or
nothing,
apparently anything like that.
Nothing. And so the thing is, so you saw that immediate response. Then the backlash to that response was Ted Cruz once again coming out and saying, "Oh, he's this transgendered left-wing activist," which is completely wrong. And
did Ted Cruz actually pick that up?
Yeah, he said
because that hit my feed,
and he read it,
and then he said it, and I'm like,
Ted,
I know what feed he was looking at.
Yeah, so do I.
Right? And I'm like, why in the world would you not vet that particular source?
Take a second to look, and that's the thing. We're seeing this instant agreement as long as it feeds into what we're already thinking about. That's gotten worse. We used to see that really badly with Fox News and MSNBC. It seems like it's getting worse to me, and it's not getting lower. Usually the better ideas squelch out the bad ideas, Doc, and you know this to be true. That's why we have free speech in this country. The good ideas generally rise to the top. I don't think that's happening as much, if at all, in the last couple of years.
I think it does. It just takes, we're so used to having things happen instantaneously. The other thing give the big three networks their due. They did vet everything they're supposed to. They tried to vet everything.
Yes.
You don't have that here. You don't have that on the internet.
Well, right, but isn't that a problem?
Yeah. Well, how do you think that's going to impact the race? Do you think that's going to be something that the left can use against the right?
No. And here's why.
Because
it's just another shooting. Honestly.
In a gun-free zone?
It wasn't a gun-free zone.
What do you mean it's not a gun-free zone?
They had an armed guard there.
That doesn't mean it's not a gun-free zone.
Planned Parenthood has armed protection at a lot of those places. Also, this whole idea of this gun-free zone, you're going to have to stop doing that because you sound dumb every time you say it.
I sound brilliant. And
no,
because they're all in a gun-free zone. Every mass shooting, gun-free zone.
Except the ones
you may be able to have an armed guard on your premises, right? But it still doesn't mean it's not a gun-free zone. Planned Parenthood has a sign right there. Guns aren't allowed. Period.
A gun-free zone means there's no guns there.
Gun-free zone means they have a little sign that says guns aren't welcome there.
And you're saying that this guy, you saw the mugshot. He was trolling that area to make sure you saw the sign. So that's the whole problem with your argument. These guys are not targeting gun-free zones because it's easy. No, they're not. You have nothing to back that up. You never have.
In this particular case, but in every other
you
particular
never
case, Aurora,
have been able to.
He drove past other ones. Aurora is obviously a gun-free zone.
Wait, so there were other.
We're going to be back right after this break. We're going to talk about Hawaii, and the SCOTUS vote. I love doing that to the lefty.